A new Secret Lair Commander deck is coming soon. Guys, welcome to the video. My name is Jack Talks MTG, and today we are going to be discussing the new Secret Lair Commander deck that has been revealed. We're going to be talking about the theme of this deck. We're going to be looking at some card spoilers. We're going to be talking about pricing, all these things. If you are excited about this deck, or you're maybe just interested to see what this might be about, then stay tuned for this video. Now, before we get into the deck, I would just make a small request, team. If you do like this video or you get any sort of value from the video, then please hit that subscribe button. It really helps a lot to support the channel. Right, let's get into this Secret Lair Commander deck. So the Commander deck is going to be called 20 Ways to Win. Now this should already be giving you a little hint of what this deck's theme is going to be, but if you haven't worked it out already, this deck is all about alternative win conditions. Okay, so lots of different cards that say when this happens you win the game. Okay, so 20 ways to win sounds like a lot, right? And you would be right. Like, that is pretty crazy to think. Usually these cards with alternate win conditions is based around a certain strategy, so having them all in one deck seems like, to me, from the surface, it's going to be a little bit incoherent, which is a lot of what a lot of people are saying. So yeah, I completely understand why a lot of people are a bit like, The art, this is the picture that we've been given. It's very, very cutesy. You can see, basically, it's raccoon vibed. I'm not really sure why they've gone with raccoons, but they've done it. And yeah, the art style itself is not going to be to everyone's taste, but if you like cutesy, anime style, then you're going to love it. And I think it's doing really well for Wizards, so they're just leaning into this sort of stuff. Yeah, I really like the artwork vibe of it. Now, they have done this before, for those that don't know, and these Secret Lair Commander decks usually retail at around $150 to $200, so these are not cheap. This is not your $40 precon, okay? So just bear that in mind. This is also a Secret Lair, okay? So if you missed all the shenanigans with the Marvel stuff, this is not abnormal. This usually happens with Secret Lairs. They are a limited product, limited print now, so if you want this product, you need to be there on its release date in the queue, ready to buy it, because it will be picked up within a few hours by scalpers and then slapped on eBay for double the price. So we've basically been teased cards for this deck every day, I believe it's been, and so far we have 14 out of the 20 win conditions teased. So yeah, let's have a little look at some of these cards, starting with the first reveals that we had, which was this piece of artwork here, which shows the Commander and a alternative art for Sol Ring. Now the art on these cards look incredible. I really love these. Let's have a little look at the Commander. It is Go-Shintai of Life's Origin. Go-Shintai is a 3 colorless and 1 green legendary enchantment creature shrine. For every color in the color pie, so for 5 colors, you can tap it to return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then whenever Go-Shintai or Life Origins or another non-token shrine you control enters, create a 1/1 colorless shrine enchantment creature token. Now, this in itself is not a win condition card, okay? So you might be thinking, well, why is this in the deck? Basically, a lot of these cards in this deck are enchantments, for starters. This is a 5 color card because, again, you always look at the color identity of a card is all the pips on the card, not just its mana cost. So because it has every color pip, it means this deck can run 5 colors, which it needs to do if it wants all these different win conditions. So that's another reason why the card is in the deck. Let's take a look at some of the other cards we've been teased. So we've got Approach of the Second Sun. This is a 7 mana sorcery white spell. This one comes with a new raccoony art, which is, again, very cutesy, very cool. If this spell was cast from your hand and you've cast another spell named Approach the Second Sun this game, you win the game. Otherwise, put Approach of the Second Sun into its owner's library, 7th from the top, and you gain 7 life. Now, if this requires you to have cast another spell named Approach the Second Sun this game. This is Commander, so that is impossible to have 2 of the same name. So the only thing we can assume is that this deck is going to have ways to change the name of cards in order to get that. So you could say You change the name of this card to Approach the Second Sun, and in that way, when you cast this Approach of the Second Sun, you would have cast a second card called Approach of the Second Sun. It also has some life gain in it, and that is a little theme in this deck as well, with some other cards that we're going to look at in a minute. So yeah, that's that. Next card was Biovisionary. This is a 1 colorless, 1 green, 1 blue human wizard. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more creatures named Biovisionary, you win the game. You're sensing a theme here again. You can't have multiple copies of Biovisionary. This is Commander, so this deck is 100% going to have a way to change the name of cards. Cool. This card doesn't come with a new art, unfortunately, so no cutesy raccoon arts here. Oh, I mean, as much as it would be great for them to do it for every card, the deck would end up costing like $1,000. So yeah, we can't have everything, team. Next card is Lilliana's Contract, a 5 cost card, 3 colorless, 2 black enchantment. When it enters, you draw 4 cards and lose 4 life. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, you win the game. We've been getting lots of demons lately, so maybe we're going to see some of those in this deck. Again, they have to have different names, so yeah, we should at least be seeing a few demons in this deck, we can assume. Maybe as well some changelings, so they count as all creature types, and yeah, that way it should be quite easy to get multiple demons on it. This is an enchantment, so you know, if it does go to the graveyard somehow, Go-Shintai can bring it back as well. And then you get to abuse the ETB of when it enters, you draw 4 cards and lose 4 life, which is a great ETB. So I think there's also mill in this deck. So when it was first announced, there was 3 win conditions teased. That was if you want the job done right, which is win by dealing 21 commander damage. Number 2 is the old reliable, win by reducing last opponent's life to total to 0. So obviously those 2 things are just standard win conditions. And then 3, when the library is closed, when the last opponent attempts to draw from an empty library. So we know there's going to be some sort of milling in this deck. So we're probably going to be milling our own enchantments into the graveyard, which is why Go-Shintai is our commander. Whoa! Lots on the old brain. This is not going to be a simplistic deck. I will tell you that now. This is not beginner friendly. Okay, right. Next one. Felidar Soveregin. This one does come with a really cute raccoon art, which looks incredible. Like, I think it's so cool. It's like a raccoon lion. I don't even know what it is, but it's cool. Felidar Sovereign is a 6 mana creature, has vigilance and lifelink, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game. So if you can just, you know, not get anyone to hit you, and you still have your starting life total, and then you get to 6 mana and you play this, you win. Although it says at the beginning of, well, that's not true, because it's the beginning of your upkeep, so it would have to survive a round, which it's probably not going to do. You're probably not going to do that without gaining life. However, there is lots of ways to gain life in this deck, so maybe this won't be too hard. But yeah, not much else to say about it. It's a life gain win con. Alright, next card is exactly the same. A Test of Endurance, life gain win con. Test of Endurance is a 4-color enchantment. Again, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 50 or more life, you win the game. Okay, nice and simple. Again, we can imagine there's going to be lots of life gain stuff to help us get this. Next card we're going to be looking at is Mayael's Aria. I don't know if I've said that right, probably not. It's a red, green, white enchantment spell. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control if you control a creature with power 5 or greater. We haven't seen a creature with power 5 or greater yet, but obviously we can assume there's going to be at least some in the deck. Then you gain 10 life if you control a creature with power 10 or greater. So even if we aren't getting the win con of this, if we can get that gain 10 life, that's going to help with the gain life win conditions. Then if you win the game, if you control a creature with power 20 or greater. So we know there's going to be pump spells in this deck. But yeah, cool, that's that one. Next one is Halo Fountain. Halo Fountain, tap for 1 white mana, untap a tapped creature you control, then create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. Okay, tap it for 2 white mana, untap 2 creatures you control, draw a card. Okay, then tap it for 5 white mana, untap 15 tapped creatures you control, you win the game. So this is a go wide. You want to create loads of tokens and then tap them all and you win the game. So another crazy win con. Now, so far, if you're like me, you're thinking there's too many different strategies going on here. Like, there's no way that you're going to be able to do any of these consistently. You only have a 100 card commander deck and a lot of those are lands, so it's, I don't know, how are you fitting all this in? I don't know. I'm skeptical. Gonna say that now. Right, next card. I have no idea how to say this. Triskaidekaphile. Jesus, what were they thinking when they named this card? One colorless, one blue creature human wizard. This has new raccoon art, I will say. I wish they changed the bloody name of it as well, like they do with some secret lairs. That would be cool. You have no maximum hand size. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. And you can pay 4 mana to draw a card. Draw lots of cards, win the game. All commander decks have ways to draw cards, so yeah, this is there just in case. Hopefully there's some, well, the next card is also a card draw win con. Spoiler alert, let's look at that one. 20 Toad. Again, your maximum hand size is, well, not unlimited, it's 20 now. Whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, put a 1/1 counter on 20 Toad and draw 20 Toad and draw a card. Whenever 20 Toad attacks, you win the game if there are 20 or more counters on it, or if you have 20 or more cards in hand. So this is actually 2 of our win cons because it's got 2 on the card. It's got a counters 1 and it has a maximum hand size 1. So yeah, they've done a little double whammy in that one, in 20 Toad. Right, next one. Happily Ever After. This has a new raccoon art as well. Another enchantment spell, 3 mana. When it enters, each player gains 5 life, contributes to our life gain win cons, and draws a card, contributes to our card draw win cons. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 5 colors among permanents you control, there are 6 or more card types among permanents you control, and or cards in your graveyard, and your life total is greater than or equal to your starting life, you win the game. So another life gain win con, but then you also need to have 5 colors among permanents. This is a 5 color deck, so it's definitely doable. And then 6 or more card types among permanents you control and in your graveyard. Now, again, we're going to assume this card deck is just going to be filled with every kind of creature card typed in order to make this happen. Woo! And that's all we've got so far, team. Now, yeah, my thoughts are, if you like alternate win conditions, then you will probably really find this deck interesting. Me personally, I don't like alternate win conditions. I don't find them really that fun or interesting. I don't think it feels good to win like that. I would rather just win the good old-fashioned way and just batter my opponent's life total to 0, or win with commander damage. Would much rather that than these just kind of oh, now I've set this up, I win the game. Like, I don't know, like Exodia sort of thing. It's just not my thing. But I know that there are people out there that think this sort of thing is really cool. So I'm excited for you if you are one of those players, because you are going to bloody love this deck most likely. However, I am super dubious that, you know, there's too many win cons in this deck to feel like it's going to be cohesive. But I guess if you've got so many, if one fails, it doesn't matter because you can try another one, and it's going to be this. Like, with this kind of deck, you're almost just playing solitaire. You're ignoring what other players are doing, and you're just playing your own game, trying to set up your board for victory. That's what this sort of play style is going to be. And if you like that sort of thing, you might love this deck. Just turn your brain off of your opponents and just focus on yourself. So yeah, that's my sort of current thoughts on it. Again, I will say, because I want to stress, this is a Secret Lair Commander deck. So if you want this deck, get in the queue and have your $150 to $200 ready. This is going to be expensive. Yes, guys, let me know what you think about the 20 ways to win Commander deck in the comments below. And if you like this video, then why don't you check out some of my other Secret Lair videos where I talk about all these Marvel Secret Lair shenanigans. I done one where I'm talking about the prices have started to drop. So if you missed out on the Marvel Secret Lairs, don't worry, because they are starting to come down on eBay, and you might be able to find ones on there with a price that is suitable for you. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you all again in the next video. Cheers.